I always appreciate your comments on these videos, and one common theme I do get a lot is to slow down. So this Inkscape tutorial is going to focus on one aspect, the clone feature. We'll do cloning basics, but then because I can't help myself, I'm going to do one advanced trick as well. If you're new to Inkscape, I know it can seem like a lot at first. All the menus are pretty busy. The learning curve is a little steep, but I'll break it down. For this tutorial, all you really need is Inkscape, just have it installed. This is the color. You can put this into the actual color menu if you want to copy the advanced part exactly. And I'm just going to use a random soccer ball. You can use anything when we actually do the cloning. And for 2026 going forward, I have a Gumroad account where if you want this file, this actual SVG file for this Inkscape, it'll be up there, so you can take a look at that. All right, so let's get into the absolute basics. This is just an object. Don't worry about anything past. It's just an object. Happens to be a circle. If we want to clone it, you go to Edit, Clone, Create Clone. And then you grab it and you have a clone, which means that if I change the original, so right now it's white. If I change it to yellow, they both go yellow. If I change something about the original, it's reflected across the clones. This is the most basic way to explain it. I'll do it again. Go up to Edit, Clone, Create Clone. It'll be right on top of the original, so put that over there. Or if you saw on the menu, Inkscape is good about shortcuts. On Clone, you can also do Alt and then D. So let's try that instead. So I've clicked on the original, Alt D. Let's see if it worked. So we've got all three. Even though we did them, we cloned it different times in different steps, it should still reflect across all of them. So that is the absolute basics of cloning. And there's several tutorials where we do a lot of fun things with clones, but I just wanted to break it down on the very basic level there. So let's go to another application. If you're doing scaled designs, like let's say you're doing a whole bunch of name tags, or if you're doing something for print on demand and you have several different versions with a main graphic, but you want to change the text, you can clone text. So this here is the original. This is what we're going to clone. I've already done the clones like you saw above, and I can change it to anything. And it'll reflect over everything. And you can keep changing it. So you could say, I want, let's say I had an image here of a boat. There was an image here of a beach, and over here is an anchor. You could say, well, right now I want to make all the designs Cape Cod designs. Or you might want to say they're now Florida designs. You see? And if you actually want to see a deeper tutorial on that, I can show you how I set up the grids. We use the multi-page feature. So not to get too advanced, keep it super slow. You can create multiple pages on one Inkscape file. And then that way, when you reflect it across all of them, you could export them individually. So it's pretty interesting. One thing you need to know once you have your clones, so let's say we've got this original, we change them to yellow. The problem is if I want to change this clone into something else, it won't. And you'll go, what is going on? You'll get your fill and stroke menu up and you try to change it to something else. It's not working. And that could become very frustrating. There's no tool or menu that will help you figure that out. So just remember, you have to unlink the clones if you want to make them independent. To unlink the clone, go back to where we found the clone function, Edit, Clone, Unlink, Clone. And just this one's unlinked. So we can change this to something else. And the original one still will clone out across the others. See? What a color palette. That's earthy. Okay, let's go to something that's slightly more advanced. Something else you can do with clones, and we've done it on different tutorials where you might want to spray the clones as if it's like a splatter effect. I've got a hexagon here. I made a smaller version. Whatever you have selected is what you're going to spray. And I'm trying to show you the steps here to keep it super slow. So if I want to go to spray them, I go to the spray tool. That's selected. And then this is telling us, well, what are we going to spray? If it's on mode 1, it'll spray copies, which is fine, but then you can't control them. On the second one over, click there, spray clones. Now, if I hold it down, it sprays out, pretty cool, right? All of the clones. And to prove that they're clones, I can go back to the original and we'll change the color. See? There are a lot of different controls you can do if you're going to spray things out. Because this is the super slow version, I'm not going to bore you with them, but when you have it selected, you can change the width of where the spray is going to go, the amount that come out when you click, the rotation, the scale. That's why they're changing size. I have a 35% scale, scatter, focus. If you want to prevent them from overlapping, you have to choose this button here, prevent overlapping, and the offset of 100, which means that it will always be spaced out if I don't prevent them from overlapping. And maybe you want to do this on purpose and I spray them out, they're going to go on top of each other. So we actually have used it this way in previous tutorials as well, but I wanted to point that out. So there you go, spray clones. This is actually what I wanted to do, but it's a little bit advanced. We're going to do something that I saw on Instagram for Illustrator, or maybe it was some other program, and you could do it in Inkscape as well. So this is going to be a little bit more advanced only because we're using path effects. And what are path effects? I'd call them built-in tools that Inkscape gives us that makes complicated things easy. So they're right down here, path effects. And all I have is just a circle, no fill. Fill is if it has a color on the inside, it's just the circle. I'm going to go to path effects, and we'll choose one that's called pattern along path. If you don't know what it's called, you want to see all of the choices, click this triangle. And that's all of them. We want pattern along path. And again, this is where Inkscape gets a little tricky. It's very busy, but to keep it super simple, I've got this circle and I want to use that soccer ball thing I showed you. So I've got the soccer ball thing. I have to edit, copy, and all that does is put the soccer ball on the clipboard, just the same way you would cut and paste, maybe copy an email address and paste it in. So I've just copied it to clipboard. Go back to your circle, and we want to, this one on the right here, link to path in clipboard. Click that, and it looks just terrible. What is going on there? That is why Inkscape can be hard, because you thought you did it wrong, but actually you have to go to the next choice, pattern copies. That's it's just stretching that, a single one stretched, which if you like the way that looks, cool, but we're going to do repeated. And repeated stretched will connect them all. See? So that's what I wanted. Now I've got this, and what I saw on the video for Illustrator or whatever it was, is the person then said, I'll make this into a gradient. So we'll go to color. It's actually a stroke. And I'm going to change it to this color here. Actually, to make the effect look better, I'll now change the page to black. This is your page here. And you could do that by going to Document Properties, and we'll choose Page, Black. And to make the effect do what I want it to do, I'm going to make this into a gradient. So I've got, this is full color. I'll go to Linear Gradient. And that works out fine, just the way it is. Just don't touch it. And this is the most advanced part, and they have a new feature in Path Effects, but I like the old school way. We're going to go to Create Tiled Clones, back on the theme of clones. So we go to Edit, Clone, Create Tiled Clones, and it's going to get busy, but I'm going to break it down simple. The first tab, these are the different tabs, Symmetry. Just keep it on the very first one, Simple Translation. I'm going to put all of these here. These are the steps you need to make this complicated thing super easy. It's going to make our design in one click. But to get there, I have all these screens set here. You can pause, screen capture it. But what it actually does in practice, just go to Shift. To be safe and to make this tutorial clearer, I'm going to reset down here. Without going into the deep explanation why, we're doing a spiral. So rather than have the clones go out in rows and columns, we just want to have them go on top of each other. And to do that, we want to exclude the rows, and we're just going to affect the columns. So I'll go -100 for per column Shift X, -100 Shift Y per row. it's all right here. Go to the very next one, scale. All we want to do is the column which we're affecting is -2. Same for Y, -2. And finally, on rotation, we're going to do 10% on the column. That's 10 degrees, sorry, 10 degrees. A quick interjection here from the editing bay. I forgot to mention on rows, columns, you need to be at 1 and 50. And that's it. So if I do create, it's going to make the design. Inkscape, what do you know? I had this selected, so it made our awesome design using this as the thing. Watch. I mean, that is what I wanted to do. Remove. So I actually have to select, you want to select the item that you want to do the effect on, and I do create. That's what I wanted. You see, that's just clones. That's the most advanced way of clones. And then if you don't like it, I actually thought that looks a little too thick. I'm going to then change it to, I just do remove. Okay, so back to here. This is a stroke, remember? I think it'll look better if I do a lighter stroke. Let's do a 0.1. Enter. Yeah, like that. And also, why don't we try a different color now that we're at it? On the linear gradient, we'll start with the color we had. Why don't we choose something on the other side to be, I'm going fast again. Nobody wants me to go fast. To this, let's see what that looks like. Back to tile clones and create. Man, okay, I don't like that much as I thought I would, but maybe we'll do one more as we fade out or cue the music. Black. Ooh, I'll end on that one. So anyway, that is create tiled clones, the advanced feature. I actually like this a lot. See, that's the fun part with Inkscape. It is complicated, but once you get the hang of it, there's things you can do to make interesting designs like this. All right, I'll see you later.